Hello again, and thanks for joining me. So, we're talking about some other things when I lived up the mountain, especially here in Turkey. And I was up there for about 16 years. So, while I was living up there, I used to take people hiking in the mountains a lot. And people used to ask me, "Oh, what snake is that? And what animal is that?" And so I had to study the snakes. And I studied the snakes really intensely in about the snakes here in Turkey, and there's about 40 different varieties. About 10 of them are poisonous, but only one or two are really deadly. One of those is the Osmanlı engelek, which is what we would call the Ottoman viper. And strangely enough, the all the little clinics that are in the towns and villages, they've all got one anti-serum in case that anyone gets a bite from that snake. So they're all very clued up on it, and apparently they're refreshed about every 3 months as well. The Osmanlı engelek is very rare, and they're not aggressive either. So while I was up there, because people knew that I knew about snakes, and I used to handle snakes as well, they used to ring me up if they got a snake in their house. So, of course, I used to go and get their snakes out of the house, and they were very happy about it. And I suppose they used to call me a bit of a snake man up there. And one day, Ibo, who was my closest friend up there, who'd got a bar right next to Tulos, the ancient ruins, he got a snake in his, like a tea shed where he makes his tea for his restaurant. So I went up to get it out, and we got the snake out, and it wasn't a venomous snake. It was a Benekli Yulana, or what we would call the ocellated whip snake. They're quite aggressive and they're quite fast. But I wanted a close up picture of this snake. So, although I'd got it out, and I hadn't got my normal piece of wire that I used to use for handling snakes with me, so I got a piece of wood and I just held it down to calm it down while I took some photographs. But unfortunately, the stick broke and it bit me on my arm. And a snake bite bleeds quite quickly. There's an anticoagulant in it in their bite, but there's no venom in the snake. But the villagers were watching what was going on, and they were obviously intrigued that I was getting this snake out and trying to take a picture of it. But as soon as I'd been bitten and I started bleeding, they all went into a panic, and they were all going, "Oh, Mick amca, Mick amca, ölecek, he's going to die, he's going to die." And I had to go up the day after. I had to go up and reassure them that I was still alive, and here I am. Look, and nothing's happened to my arm. It hadn't even swollen because that particular snake is not venomous. So, of course, there are some really beautiful snakes, and one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen is the large whip snake when they're mating. You get two of them, and they entwine each other like this, and they raise up about this high. An absolutely beautiful snake, and it's a shame that people in the villages, especially, they don't know about their environment that well, and they're frightened of the snakes, and they usually end up killing them all. And then, of course, they get a problem with rats and mice because that snake could, if it eats a couple of mice a day, that's that's 600 over 600 rats or mice every year that they're clearing out, and they hunt prolifically. Those big black snakes. The Coluber jugularis is a black snake, or what we call the large whip snake, and they hunt from morning till night. As soon as they've warmed up, they start hunting, and they go into every crevice looking for something to eat. Not dangerous to humans, but they will hold their ground. So if you corner them or if they see you, they will rise up like a cobra does, and they can be up to 3 or 4 meters long, and they're pretty good at jumping as well. They can jump up a wall. Anyway, yeah. So, and like I said, that, you know, the villagers are not always aware of their environment, and especially the wildlife that's around them. Ibo, who was my friend, he was very clued up on it all. But I can remember going up to the mountain, up to the what they call the Yile, or the plateau, and asking the Yuruks up there. They're the people that go up there in the summer and they take their sheep or goats with them. I said to them, "Have you seen any like large cats or anything like that?" And they said, "Oh, they said, you mean Janavar?" I said, "Janavar? Janavar is a monster." And they said, "Oh, you mean the Kupile Janavar? Kupile is like with earrings." And obviously, what they mean was the lynx. And yes, they'd taken a couple of their sheep or goats. So they are around that area in Akhdar, and I've even seen some footprints from the lynx on Bobadar, which is close to Uludenis. Another time, not far away from Yaka, is a place called Girmile, and what they call the Black Lamp Caves. It used to be there used to be a hot plunge pool there years ago, like a health centre, but it's all derelict now. And we heard a story from locals that there was a tunnel that used to go from there all the way up to Tulos, which would be about 4 kilometres. So me and a friend went looking for the tunnel, and the cave itself, as you can go under, it gets narrower and narrower. And at one point, I was crawling in a really narrow place, and I couldn't really see round a sort of a sharp bend. And I put my light round, and I could see a reflection in the glass of my light, and it was the back end of a porcupine. And thank God I didn't wake it up, because if it would have run back at me, it would have I would have been impaled with the quills. But again, it's another wild animal that you never see, very elusive creature, just like the lynx. And of course, in places like the Black Sea area, they have quite a lot of bears, the brown bears and black bears. And yeah, they're not dangerous like the grizzly bear, but in the wintertime, they do break into people's houses that have been left for the winter, and go looking for food. In that area of Yaka, which is on the slopes of Akhdar, at the foothills of Akhdar, it's a very rural area, and there's a lot of birds as well. You can always hear the bulbul, which is the nightingale, and lots of birds of prey. I've seen vultures up there. I've seen golden eagles, and yeah, really, really interesting. And again, a lot of people don't know the names of the birds. They'll just say cartel, it's an eagle. And that's another hobby of mine. I love bird watching. And some of the birds that we see in this area, of course, I've made films about them. So thanks for listening to another one of my stories. Please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss my next story. Thanks for watching.